Listen to like American commentators on American news shows, and they're always like running down countries like Brazil. Yet Brazil can do a fucking election, have it organized enough so that they have the result that night. Whereas in the U.S. they're still counting. I don't know if they've written it on the back of fucking matchbooks or some shit like that. Probably.
Yes, that
probably.
Matt Pillow guy do.
I mean, they don't even know if the crazy lady or the other crazy lady won in Arizona yet.
Oh, Carrie Lake. I thought she lost.
But I didn't see it as of this morning. I didn't see it. Maybe that's come through.
I don't know. She's fucking off her nut though.
Yeah.
Or she's not.
She's not. No,
she's not. You're actually right. When
she's
you say
manufactured. It's totally manufactured. I mean, like they read the fucking. I think they read the wind. They read the wind wrong. Like they went for. I think they went full on Trump just in the wrong places. That full on Trump might have worked not in Arizona. And not in Nevada, and not in fucking Pennsylvania, and not, but like, you know, you could carry the whole fucking southern, like a lot of the southern states, you could go full on. I mean, look at Herschel Walker.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They're talking about how all the Trump candidates lost. Well, Herschel Walker, like, barely lost against an incumbent, and there's going to be a runoff, and chances are he'll win that.
I mean,
because the turnout's going to be significantly fucking lower for that than it was for that.
Yeah.
For general, and.
They probably also like.
Yeah,
I think
poor people just tend not to turn out for shit like that.
But also, I think that it's also that they put their money in the wrong places. With some people, they really didn't put enough resources there.
Yeah. I mean, but I mean, the thing is, like I said, like the Democrats, all the fucking the punditry of the Democratic head punditry, like the fucking MSNBC crowd, they're all jumping up and down, like it's like, way, yeah, but like you still fucking lost.
But you didn't lose by that much.
You didn't lose by as much as you thought you were going to lose by, so that doesn't make it a fucking victory. You know what I mean? Like if you were in the Super Bowl and you were gonna, like everybody said, you're gonna get fucking beaten like 79 fucking nil, and you only get beaten like 60 nil. You know what I mean? Like that's still not a victory.
I mean, if you're measuring how, maybe it's because they're like, you don't dislike me as much as I thought. That's the race they're running. I
mean, possibly, but I mean, I don't fucking know. Like, you know, and they've made this referendum on Trump. You know, like Trump's done now. He's gone now. But it's the same people who've said Trump is gone.
He's not gone
for fucking the last 7 years, man. You know what I mean?
He's not gone. But what it showed is that people who are crazy are going to vote for whoever they want to do. Like DeSantis, like Trump didn't affect him.
I would argue that. I would argue that DeSantis is a Trump candidate.
What do you mean?
I mean, he's distanced himself now, but he was a Trump candidate.
No, he was before. He got elected for him because he was getting Andrew,
so I mean, so Trump is like DeSantis is a Trump candidate.
What have you done for me lately?
Yeah, kind of. But I mean, I think, I suppose.
You're really going. You're going down for your buddy.
I just think that I think there's like, you know, reports of his death have been greatly exaggerated.
Oh no, I think that it shows. It just shows how much. It just shows for people that Trump doesn't care.
I mean, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do the thing. Like I know you haven't seen it yet, right? But Dave Chappelle. I watched Dave Chappelle Saturday Night Live, and he said a thing about Trump that was fucking great, man.
What did he say?
He said Trump was the first billionaire I ever heard get up on stage and go, "These people are cheating on you. They're all lying to you." And so Trump's like, "I knew it! I knew it!" And like to have a guy get up there and say that it was true, and how he knew it was true is because he was doing it. I mean, that's why they
like. You think I'm bad? Look at these.
That's why they like Trump.
That's why they like him. Yeah, it's true. I mean, like, listen. I don't think that you can have somebody like DeSantis come against Trump and think anything good's going to come of that.
No, I mean, so what'll happen is like, I mean, they'll love that because then like, I mean, even fucking Grandpa, I mean, even Grandpa Brandon could win like again, like running against DeSantis as the Republican nominee
easily,
and Trump as a fucking
independent.
As an independent.
If Trump runs as an independent, I'm voting. I will move to America and vote for him.
Yeah, I will too. Yeah,
because that's.
Yeah.
Love, like it's amazing.
Yeah.
What the fuck would that be?
Yeah, well, he might do it. He might do it. I mean, he might do it just to be like, fuck you, man.
You think so?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because
he has been, like, his entire life has been on the outside looking in.
But not really.
I am telling you.
I get it that he's not the coolest rich guy. He's not the richest rich guy.
I'm from New York City, right?
He's Bridge and Tunnel.
He's Bridge and Tunnel. He's from Queens, and he never got in with, no matter how many fucking buildings he bought, no matter how many things he put his name on. They just thought he was a low-class oaf from the fucking across the bridge. Like, always. And he was never invited. This is why when that Jeffrey Epstein shit happened, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody was trying to like throw it at Trump, and it just didn't stick with Trump because he was never welcome in that crowd. They never liked him.
True, but I mean,
they occasionally kissed his ass.
I was gonna say.
But like, he was never one of them. He wasn't accepted into that crowd like the Clintons were.
No, because he's not.
You know what I mean?
He doesn't have that much class to those people.
Absolutely. He has no fucking class.
Yeah, he has no class.
He has zero fucking class.
No, he's building a gold like monuments to
yeah,
himself.
I mean, he is like, he was never, I mean, I know it well. Because like, I moved to New York City when I was 11 years old, right? And I moved in from Long Island, right? And so I went to junior high school and my first year of college in New York. My friends who grew up in Manhattan, they still called me Bridge and Tunnel. Oh my God. I was still Bridge and Tunnel. I mean, it was like taken. They accepted. Yeah. I was a lot more accepted than
Trump would have been accepted by those people.
But
because he wanted to be like a Vanderbilt kind of crowd.
Exactly. That society money never accepted him, and like Nixon, and Nixon was the same. Like East Coast liberal elites, right? And Trump hates those people, but guess who else hates those people? Everybody else hates those fucking people, which is why they love Trump. I mean, there is a racist element to Trump, of course, too. There are people who are, no, I'm not kidding. Yeah, honestly, yeah. But I mean, like in the sort of overall, my overall analysis of Trump is that's what it is. And Dave Chappelle said that perfectly the other night.
Yeah.
It's like, he was like, doesn't give a shit because he's not really one of them, right?
Right.
And they have never let him in their club, so he doesn't mind shitting all over the club.
Like
and he knows, and he's got the evidence because he fucking did it.
This is like Revenge of the Nerds kind of.
Kind of, yeah. Kind of.
Like, you know.
So yeah, Trump's not gone.
No, he's not gone. He's not gone. But I do think it gives a little opening for some trouble now. Yeah. What happened? Yeah. Because. You know, okay, I was watching, this is ridiculous, it's not like necessarily all the proof you need, but I was watching Evil, like the Empire, like Rupert Murdoch documentary.
Okay, yeah, you were telling me about that.
I was, yeah. And I was watching about how they were like, you know, people like him, and it's the media, you know, that run everything, they want to like shift the power, you know, they always want to be there and throwing, you know, pushing people. And like, I could understand how they would want to shift it away to somebody like DeSantis for a bit, because then at least they get to control more. Because Trump, it's at some point it's like, does Trump need Fox or Fox needs Trump?
I think a little bit of both.
Yeah. And it's like now you see what's going on that.
It's like the post-election reaction, right? But they'll be right back kissing his ass.
But they're already scared, eh? They're scared to really go off, and I think the Republican Party definitely wants to. But it all doesn't matter anyway.
I mean, I can't believe the guy had such an influence on anything, but like I said, I mean, I haven't really lived in the States for a long time. I mean, even when I went back to live from 2005 to 2009, I never felt like I had like 1 foot still back in Ireland.
Oh, okay.
You know, I mean, and that's 4 years. I was back to Ireland like at least 6 times. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
And
that's
you know,
a lot.
yeah, and I had like people over and stuff, so it was like I did not settle when I came back.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I watched the news and the TV and shit, and like I did get to know a lot of stuff that was going on because I was in that real estate thing, and I was like, I met a lot of people from different walks of life and stuff, and because I was like a new real estate agent, so I got a lot of the shitty jobs, like you know, dealing with like selling trailer park houses and stuff like that. Yeah.
How was that?
I don't know, it was just people who were like really
desperate.
Kind of some elements of were people who were just like, you know, generational, you know, poverty, but then other ones were like people who had kind of been like on the ladder and got chewed up and spat out and had no choice but to go back to live in a trailer park. Yeah, people buy the trailer. They buy the actual trailer, and then they pay the lot rent. So you buy the trailer.
Okay, so you own the trailer.
You own the trailer.
Rent on the lot.
So you pay rent on the lot. So you pay like maybe $300 a month in lot rent.
Yeah.
And then you buy the trailer, so you get a mortgage on the trailer. So your mortgage is only like $600 or $700. It's a really cheap way to live, but it's not nice.
Oh wow.
And generally speaking, they are drug fucking riddled and crime riddled and just not really nice places to be.
This is in New York.
This is in upstate New York. Yeah, upstate New York is like redneck fucking city, man. And it's like fucking, you know, once you get like an hour's drive, an hour and a half's drive from New York City, you're in Trump's America. You're in red America. Once you get out of like, you know, like that hour and a half, that commutable sort of time frame.
Fucked up.
Yeah.
And do people commute from trailer parks?
Well, no, people who live in trailer parks wouldn't be working in the city. No, but I mean, they might work in. I mean, they're usually people who are working in smaller cities, like you know,
like Rochester,
well, not even Rochester, but it'd be like smaller, like cities like I lived in, like Canandaigua, Newark, New York. Yeah, there's like, you know, like America, the U.S. is like satellites. It's like the big city, and then there's like smaller big cities, and then there's small cities, you know, and then there's like, you know, there's all kinds of industry and retail and all kinds of shit all around, you know? I mean, it's like, you know, people who work in like, there's people working like, there's like a Dollar General in every fucking, like in a city like Canandaigua, there's like two or three Dollar Generals. There's one down on the route down that way, one on the route up that way. You know, so there's like a handful of people working in those fucking shitty jobs.
When you describe this, it just seems like you're getting like every single time, space, energy you have is commoditized.
It's absolutely.
And it's like even you just saying satellites, and I'm like, oh, it's so stressful.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. So I mean, and that's those are the people who resonated with Trump. Trump resonated with those people, you know, and I get it, man. I totally get it, man. You know what I mean? Like they're you know, their lives have like have been significantly downgraded since really
ever.
Yeah,
I was about to say, when was this nice time?
Especially after the financial crisis in 2008.
True. And I mean, there was a lot
because
of
it made a lot of shit more difficult to do. Like it made it more difficult to buy a house. It made it more difficult to do shit. It made it, the precarity of their lives became much more pronounced. And who did they look to blame? The black dude.
Yeah.
Obama.
Yeah.
And here comes this guy, and that's I mean, and like
it was almost like Bush didn't have anything to do with it.
How he got off? Yeah, he kind of got off. I mean, he was like, ultimately, he was responsible for it. It was on his fucking watch.
He started a war, had a financial crisis, everything like.
But I mean, remember he started the war. Remember it was like, I think it was right after fucking 9/11, about like 2 months after 9/11. He was like, hey everybody, everything's okay. Y'all go out there and go shopping.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I do remember that.
And it was just
go
this
shop.
Credit.
You were right.
Credit.
You were right.
That was the Bush administration.
Like the Republican.
And I encourage you all to go shopping more.
Like the Republican Party especially, they were like, go buy stuff. It was consumerism on another level. And you know, I think in that time, there were a lot of people probably between like the mid-90s and whatever, and like the early 2000s who were actually coming up, you know? There's a lot of new millionaires and a lot of things like that. Like people, there was like the internet bubble, and then real estate was coming up again. And I really think it was like spend.
It was.
Loan.
But it was spend money that you don't have.
Yeah.
And get on the property ladder. It doesn't matter how much you fucking have to sacrifice to get on the property ladder, because the prices of real estate, they're always going to go up.
Yeah.
And they were literally selling shit. That was how they were selling. These like subprime mortgages. These things were like the most fucking draconian fucking loans ever fucking invented. It was like, you know, they had these ARMs, adjustable rate mortgages, where after like 3 years of your interest-free period, suddenly your fucking mortgage is like going up every fucking every year.
California.
Steve Mnuchin.
California.
Capital One. That was Capital One. That was Steve Mnuchin. But I mean, like,
where the fuck is that guy now?
He's fucking living off the land, man. He's probably got a fucking government pension because he was the Treasury Secretary for for 4 years.
He doesn't need any breaks from the.
Oh, he's getting. I guarantee he's on a government pension now.
Are you serious?
I'm pretty sure.
That
we can
dude's
check.
That dude is rolling
I'll check.
in
I'll
it.
check. But like
that dude's rolling in it.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's all, as far as I'm concerned, it's all illegal money. It's all blood money, and he should be in prison.
I mean, all of California. Like I remember reading something. It was like a year before the crash. There was like this many new millionaires. This like the price of the homes went up so quick.
Yeah.
It was crazy, you know. And I remember watching a few shows, and I know this is gonna sound really ridiculous, but like even just watching like The Real Housewives or something, all those bitches lost their houses.
Yeah.
But like on TV, it was that bad. Like you couldn't even hide it. You couldn't even hide it.
But there was a place. There's a town called Jupiter, Florida, right?
Oh yeah.
And in the space of like a year,
yeah,
like a house went from like 500,000
exactly
down to like 180.
It was like Newport,
Yeah.
in California. They were saying that it was like they were all in the millions, and then all of a sudden, nothing.
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 And it was like it was so obviously predictable that would happen. But there was this and even people, so like the way that so what really happened with that, like that financial crisis, that was the core fucking thing. And that was W. Bush, right?
Yeah.
The W. Bush economic policy was like spend, 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 money you don't have, just like the way he ran the fucking government. Like spend, spend, spend,
Yeah.
a war we can't
Especially being
afford
a
that we're not going to
Republican.
pay for, we don't give a shit. Yeah, fuck that shit.
Especially being Republican with
Fuck
small
that
government
shit.
and not spending.
Yeah, that's politics.
Wow,
They never mean
they
that.
never mean
They
that.
only mean that when they're not in power. But so then the economy was like the fucking thing hit a brick wall in 2007. Hit a brick wall in 2007. Well, 2008 really. The end of 2007, the beginning of 2008. I think Bear Stearns was maybe in March.
2006
it was March.
No. Bear Stearns is fine. Do not take your money out. This is real. Look, if there's one takeaway other than the plus 400 somewhere, Bear Stearns is not in trouble. I mean, if anything, they're more likely to be taken over. Don't move your money from Bear. That's just being silly. Don't be silly.
Okay, just so you get a sense of what's causing the agony by this point, I know you've been talking about it. It's financials led by Bear Stearns after what essentially is a bailout from the Fed. Bear Stearns shares are down 90% this morning, and it's not just Bear. Pretty much every single bank is plunging in early trade this morning.
Anyway, it hit the wall, and so like what happened was like all the people everybody got on board with it, man. Everybody's like, fuck that shit, I want part of it. Even people who had owned their houses and had bought and paid for their houses, they took out second mortgages and they did all kinds of shit, and they bought like boats and they bought trucks and they bought all kinds of shit like that. Yeah. And you know, and those are the people that like in 2008 and 2009 when I was working in the real estate thing, those are the people I was helping move into fucking trailer parks.
That's so crazy. Could you imagine working? It's just such a scam.
And that, in the end of the day, that's what Trump did. And you know, like I said, Obama got the blame for it. And they were very clever in the way Obama got the blame for that. Because the recovery wasn't fast enough, and this and that.
Not to mention he gave the bankers the...
I mean,
he let them off.
He let them all off.
And,
yeah,
and like it looked like well, he
is
a liberal elite who was like, my friends, you get off. And all these bankers got to put on their suits.
Jamie Dimon, all those guys. I mean, they were all at his fucking birthday party, his 60th birthday party. Remember, that was in Martha's Vineyard, and they had too many people. I remember they had too many people because it was COVID, and he invited all the people. He had like the likes of like David Axelrod and Samantha Power and all those people who helped make him, right?
They have such asshole names.
But he disinvited all of them so he could get all his fucking celebrity and fucking financial buddies to come and like the fucking I mean, but I mean, like, and essentially Obama took the hit for all that shit in the eye of working class disenfranchised white people. He took the blame. In a hyper racialized society of the United States, it was easy to sell.
And also Democrats know better, you know, if you're black. You have to do a lot better.
And Democrats are fucking terrible.
They just don't
because
do
I mean, they were on board with all the same guys. You know what I mean? It wasn't like this was like just only Republicans were doing this shit.
Yeah.
I mean, all the Democrats were like, you know, they were on. I mean, like I said, like Timothy Geithner, like the guy that Barack Obama put in as the fucking, what was the fucking Fed chairman first and then his Treasury Secretary or vice versa or whatever the fuck, or had been the Fed chairman. But I mean, these guys were, I mean, they were the ones who were like grifting the system.
Yeah.
And so they, anyway, so Trump was able to come in and say, you know, these guys are ripping you off, and I know because I helped them and I did it too.
Did you use that $916 million loss to avoid paying personal federal income taxes?
Of course I do. Of course I do. And so do all of her donors, or most of her donors. I know many of her donors. Her donors took massive tax write-offs.
So have you not paid personal federal income taxes?
A lot of my write-off was depreciation and other things that Hillary, as a senator, allowed. And she'll always allow it because the people that give her all this money, they want it.
And he told you to your face.
You're stupid if you pay
And
taxes.
you voted for
You're
him.
stupid if you do this. You're stupid if you do
yeah,
that.
and you thought, and like remember when he said that Hillary Clinton said he didn't pay any taxes? Yes, that's because I'm smart. And people were like, yeah, he's smart. I want him running the fucking country because he's smart.
Because I'm smart.
Yeah, because I'm smart.
Fucking Biff, you're
Yeah,
right.
and that's Trump. That's how Trump got, and that's not going away.
No.
That is not going away. That feeling of malaise that people have in the middle of the flyover part of the U.S., man, that is not going away. And while you still have the fucking electoral college system, it doesn't matter how many fucking East Coast elites and West Coast elites hate Trump, because they could all vote for them, and the whole middle could win the fucking election because of the electoral college.
Because it's there's not representation.
You know, you've got like Texas, Ohio, Florida, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan. Like,
mind you, what does it matter who gets voted in? Because
It
they don't
doesn't
even
matter.
give a fuck about the issues that anyone
No,
cares
it doesn't
about.
really matter anyway.
Like I was looking at,
doesn't matter
I was
anyway.
looking at some things that
Doesn't
people
matter
really cared about.
Doesn't matter anyway.
And like if you left abortion, you left all this other stuff, and if you left like certain things like gay rights, affirmative action, all these things that you could get people hyped up about. Nobody really cared about that. It was really just economics. But they were like, people really wanted social safety nets. They did, even Republicans.
Absolutely.
And that's actually something that the populace should really go off of. Right?
Yeah, I think it's Colorado voted in more than that.
$15 minimum wage.
Yeah,
Or
$18 minimum wage. Yeah.
So then, why wouldn't then? Oh, there's the issue we always go back to. Why then wouldn't the media cover that? Why wouldn't they?
Well, because
say,
they're
corporate. Yeah.
Well, they live in a bubble where none of them really. It doesn't affect any of them. It doesn't even affect the people that work for them.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
Like they pay their housekeeper really well because they think they're great and they're.
They're like, I love Maria.
Yeah,
That's what they
exactly.
are. And I've heard that on.
Absolutely.
And like, I love Maria. And you're like, that sounds racist as fuck, but it's true. They
have no fucking concept of how.
I forget who it was.
Fucking horrible people's lives are.
I forget somebody had this chat with this woman. They were like, it was on TV. It was really funny, and she's very wealthy. And the lady was like, oh, my kids have so much access to people who are like brown or colored or whatever. And they're like, yeah, and do all those people work for you?
Yeah.
And it was like, she was like, oh, but I love Maria. That's where I got the point. I was like, ha! I was like, and that's the disconnect. She's like, oh, but I pay for this.
And that's the thing. So they have contact with like Maria. And like the brown kids who's like whose father does the fucking maintenance around the fucking
Maria's
house or whatever.
Nice and Jose's cool.
But who they never meet are fucking like working class white oafs that live fucking 100 fucking miles away from them.
Yeah, and those are the people that they talk about being racist.
And those are the people who talk about being racist and stupid
and ignorant.
Yeah.
But you're just removed from them.
Yeah.
And actually, they get to cover up their stuff because they're in their little towers, their little ivory towers. Unfortunately, it's true.
It's true.
It's true.
Yeah. And that is.
I love Maria.
In a nutshell, that's how we're hearing about the death knells of Donald Trump again, which are just not
stupid.
Yeah, really stupid, and not. He is not dead. Long live the king! The king lives.
Oh,
no, I don't fucking mean that. But I do think he's fucking hilarious, and I do think he's right. Now he's as disingenuous as fuck about it. And he's cynical, and he doesn't give a shit about any of those people, but he is right.
Yes.
I mean, he will say it to their faces.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I mean, like he fucking annihilated Jeb Bush. It was like, your family fucking started the Gulf War, blah, blah, blah. And like
he called Jeb Bush ugly too.
And he said something about my favorite bit from any of the debates. No, when he's like, yeah, exactly. Like my mother's the most honorable woman you ever. He's like, maybe she should run. I was like, no, it's too good, man. It's just too good.
Voice.
It's too good, man. Maybe she should run.
It's that fucking voice.
Oh man, just like.
It's stupid, but it's dead smart.
Yeah.
It's right on the nail.
But it's like.
An idiot savant.
Yeah, he doesn't. I mean, this is what they hate the most about him. I mean, what they hate the most about him is, he disturbs their fucking this facade that they have that they're amazing and their fucking farts don't stink.
Dude, he brought that shit
and
down.
he just comes like with all of it. He just like lets it all out. He's like, fuck that shit. I don't care. Like when he was doing that interview with what's his name? Was it Lester Holt? Might have been Lester. No, it wasn't. It was the other guy. The Chris Wallace.
Okay.
The guy from Fox. He's like going.
The one who left Fox.
The guy who left Fox, yeah. But he was like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was Lester Holt. Anyway, he was doing an interview with somebody who was like, blah, 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 about, I know you're cozying up to these dictators, you know? I mean, so-and-so is, you know, like, he's killers, and blah. It's like, hey, we killed
Putin's a killer. A lot of killers. We got a lot of killers. Why, you think our country's so innocent?
Hey, we kill a lot of people, too. And
Oh,
it's like,
my God.
Whoa! And it's like, yeah,
Yes.
he's fucking right.
No, that's true. He did do that. He did say that. He was like, yeah, we kill a lot of people too. He's like, you know, America. Yeah, I remember that.
It's like, yeah. So that fucking resonated with people. Somebody who's finally like going, yeah, fuck you. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know, USA, USA,
Yeah,
USA.
yeah, he's like, woohoo.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you know, and like when they killed fucking Jamal Khashoggi, when the Saudis killed Jamal Khashoggi, he was like, yeah, well, you know, blah, 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 and, you know, we need their oil, and they buy a lot of our very, very nice weapons. We sell them very, very beautiful weapons from our very beautiful companies.
I would not be in favor of stopping a country from spending $110 billion, which is an all-time record, and letting Russia have that money and letting China have that money, because all they're going to do is say, that's okay, we don't have to buy it from Boeing, we don't have to buy it from Lockheed, we don't have to buy it from Raytheon and all these great companies. We'll buy it from Russia, we'll buy it from China. So
Lots of beautiful weapons. And it was like, that's it. But like, the thing is, right?
We did.
Joe Biden went over there
Yeah.
and he fucking kissed his ass as well.
Yeah.
But he just did it like in a more like not so conciliatory way. He like fist bumped him and, you know, blah, blah, blah.
And I
didn't-
thought he was supposed to be like all against MBS. What's it, Mohammed bin Salman?
They're in.
Yeah, I know, I saw it,
They're in
yeah.
Bali right now. They're in Bali right now for the G20, and there's like all this whether he's going to talk to him or
He's
whatever.
gonna talk to him. He's
Of course
been
he is.
talking to him.
Of
He's
course he
been
is.
talking to him.
He's gonna fucking. Of course he's going to talk to him. They need that fucking
speaking
oil
of
and
the
shit.
Middle East, if we come back from a little break, I want to talk about that.
Okay.
Iran.
Oh yeah.
What
yeah.
the fuck?
Yeah. What the fuck?
I'm scared. Those people. You're not.
Nope.
I'm fucking. What?
No, I think it's terrible, but I think you're being like given the media that you're being spoon-fed the media that they
No,
want you to-
just the people condemned to death.
Yeah. Okay. I get it.
That only that.
No, I get it. Listen, that's horrible.
'Cause they're all young.
That is horrible. It's on the BBC. I was going to talk about that.
Okay,
I was
we'll
gonna
come back
talk
and talk about it. Iran, dude.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. I'm not saying.
I don't even know what's there to do for any of it.
I'm not saying Iran's great.
No.
No question that I'm saying Iran's great. But I'm saying it's very selective that we single out Iran to talk about.
Of course.
And there's a reason that we do that. It's
Yeah.
because Iran is bad, and we want to have a war with Iran. We want a regime change in Iran.
Yeah.
What we're not talking about is there's a Saudi woman. I can't remember if I've got it on I have it on notes that I took. I'll see if I can find that document. There's a Saudi woman. Can't remember her name.
Yeah.
She is in prison.
For life.
She is on trial for her life.
Yeah.
Which is essentially the article that I read today was about they're sentencing women to death for.
And I agree, because the Saudis are just as bad.
Yeah, Saudis
worse.
are worse.
Worse.
They're fucking worse.
They're worse. Well-
And Joe Biden is going to fucking kiss his ring in about fucking 10 minutes in Bali.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. These are horrible things,
Yeah,
and
they're
it's fucking
perpetrating
horrible
wars in
things.
Yemen and
But
other places.
it's very selective what we hear about through like outstanding fucking journalistic outfits like the BBC. It's unbelievable that we don't hear about these things, but we don't. They don't talk to us about these things. What they talk to us about are the things that they want us to be angry about and get on board with, because they want us to get on board with we need to get on board with regime change and with you know what I mean. Like it's just it is horrible what's happening in Iran.
It's just because they're so young that you feel this, I don't know.
Yeah, listen, I really do. It is like it's awful. It really is awful. But like we're supporting much more awful shit. Even like the BBC. Like no, I'm sorry, I'm going to single them out.
BBC.
No, because they're going to talk about. There were two articles today,
Right.
and I wanted to talk about this, so I've already thought about it. Right? There was the Iran sentencing people to death for the protest, right?
Yeah.
And then there was another article on how bad the Taliban are towards women.
Yeah.
And
Shouldn't have left.
like I said, like we're allowed to be angry about them, but we're not allowed to be angry about Saudi Arabia.
No.
And we're going to have there's going to be a cock-sucking media festival in a couple of weeks' time
with the World-
in Qatar,
Because of the World
right?
Cup. What is it?
Like-
FIFA? Is that FIFA?
FIFA, yeah, FIFA World Cup. Like Qatar, like they got this bid in 2010, right?
Yeah.
And from 2010 to 2020, 6,500 people that we know about that have been reported have died in the construction of those fucking stadiums and the airport and the hotel.
You're talking about slavery? That's it.
And that's slavery.
Yes.
And everybody at the BBC, all this BBC is going to send like Gary Lineker and fucking Phil Neville and all those assholes, these BBC like media fucking stars who are like, and the BBC are talking about how bad Iran is and how bad fucking.
They're gonna go in there and dance on the bodies of people.
They're going to go and dance on people's fucking graves in Qatar, so they can go and fuck off with their how bad Iran shit is. Yeah, Iran is bad.
Agreed. No, it's not even just Iran is bad. It's just that like, you know, given like what happened obviously in 1979 or whatever, I mean, there was young people storming it then too, right?
Yeah.
They were, but I'm like, but this is.
I mean, if you want to open up that kettle of worms, okay. Well, I mean, that fucking 1979 thing, right? This is like, you know, like that was that should have come as no fucking surprise.
Of course. Do you think
anybody.
Well, they instituted what is his name, the Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi before.
Yeah.
They
brought him out of
him
obscurity.
and
put him in charge.
But propped him up and made him.
And he was a vicious fucking dictator.
No. He was cosmopolitan and liked to wear Versace and was very nice.
Bullshit.
And people,
He was a vicious. He was like as bad as, if not worse than Saddam Hussein.
He was as bad.
You know?
He was as bad. But they were both very much alike.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and
one was doing.
And you know what was also very much alike about both of them is the U.S. was giving them both money. I mean, the F-14. I remember.
And the English, by the way.
Yeah, I remember the F-14 Tomcat was a plane made by Grumman, and it was like a big thing in my house because I was a kid, right? And it was like, oh, you know, jet planes and blah blah blah. I sat in one. My grandfather worked for Grumman Aerospace.
Okay.
But they had like fucking Iran had them, and you know, like it was like, this was like not. These guys didn't come up on their own. Like the fucking Iranian revolution didn't just. It wasn't just because these people were like, oh, they hate our freedom, like Bush said, right? This was like years of fucking oppression.
Yes, it was, but it was also. I mean.
And it was young people. Yeah.
It was young people, but it was like the change.
And you know, and the young people. Sorry, I did interrupt, but the young people, like there were a lot of communists and young socialists and communists in that revolution, and they got.
What happened to them?
They got summarily fucking taken out by the fucking by the theocracy. Yeah. I mean, the theocracy is like that ruled Iran after that. You know what I mean? Like
it went from Khomeini, to Khomeini.
To Khomeini, yeah. Went to Khomeini.
Now it's Khomeini. Khomeini was like. You think about what he did, like.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, that helped the U.S. even more. In terms of the viciousness that came out. Because look, then what we got? The Iran-Iraq War right after. For years.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, if this happens again, I mean, just with the nature of the Middle East, wow.
Saddam Hussein started the Iran-Iraq War.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the behest of. On the behest of.
Yeah.
Fucking like Donald Rumsfeld was over there fucking shaking his hand.
Yeah, but I mean, he got prepped up. I mean, like a bunch of Shiites over there kept being like, hey. But they were also looking at him like, hey, like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, so the whole thing, when I see things about how bad Iran is, and I get it, and I do agree with you, it's fucking horrible.
It's just that it's, to me, it's like a group of such young people.
Yeah.
And like, I know in there's people being infiltrated or whatever, but I mean, to what purpose? You know, like it's the same thing we talk about Ukrainians. I'm like, yeah, I get it. There's people infiltrating here. It's like today I heard something about like now there's some crew of like Nazi Ukrainians or whatever, and everyone's making a big deal about it, whatever. I'm like,
that's since the beginning. If you look at
but
it,
now there's like this new like they're more hardcore or whatever, and everyone's like, are we giving Nazis weapons? Like da da da.
Yeah, well, I mean, but that like again, my trusted news outlet, the BBC, has an article about the Wagner. The Wagner mercenary group, which is a Russian mercenary military group, and they're not touching that Ukrainian Nazi story.
No, I read it in a few places now that they're like, there's some people questioning, but I was just kind of like...
That's been an ongoing thing.
Yeah, but it's like, they're like, well, this group is more vicious or whatever, because they're like, you know, Russia's going the wrong way, they're retreating, blah, blah. It was just stupid shit. Whatever.
Yeah. I heard an interesting comment somebody saying about Russia's retreating. And and this one guy who's like a military guy, I don't agree with him.
Okay.
Larry Wilkerson, if you want, I'll put his fucking shit details up there. He's a super military guy, West Point. Like he's like, you know, he's like an old school, a realpolitik kind of military analyst, right?
Okay.
But he's practical. He's practical about things. And what he said was, he's like, you know, I wouldn't get too excited about the Russians being on the retreat, because you want to think back to the Russians on the retreat from 1940 to 1945 and what they did to the Germans on retreat.
True, because they also like to play in their own field.
Yeah, I mean, this is what, this notion that, I don't know, like it's a whole different fucking thing.
Yeah.
Again, it's really hard to believe anything that comes out of Ukraine. Like the Iran thing, no, I believe that truly is happening, that young people are being like sentenced to death, because it's fucking horrible and it's an oppressive regime. But my point is, we pick like there's certain oppressive regimes that we're like, that's a fucking really bad thing, and we have to, and we've got to give them money, we've got to put money into the people who are against them, and blah blah blah. Meanwhile, we're giving the oppressive regime of Saudi Arabia and Qatar, by the way, and Bahrain money, because it's called the GCC, the Gulf Cooperative Council, I think they're calling themselves, but they're all together in fucking Yemen. Like Yemen, bombing school buses.
Yeah, it's true.
So I mean,
but it's just the fact that there's these pockets all over the world where obviously other people's hands are being there and they're engineering these problems as well. They're part of it, but these people are really. There's a bunch of groups of young people who are literally going to die for nothing.
Yeah.
For nothing.
It's
and
horrible.
like the Iran thing, it's got me because I'm just like, that idea of just like condemning that many people to death, and we're in this time, in this world, it's just fucking terrible.
I wonder what's going to happen. I mean, imagine if somebody in Qatar tries to protest something at the World Cup.
That ain't happening.
Yeah.
What? That's in Qatar.
They're definitely going to get sentenced to death.
They're not going to.
They're not going to get sentenced.
We won't even hear
They're just
about
going to throw them off the roof.
We will never hear.
They throw them off a roof.
Granted, let's be real. How many people do we know that get thrown off the roof? Well, we don't know them obviously in like America and other places, for telling the truth. It's just covered up everywhere. But it's like the fact is that it's a big, large group of young women, that are getting sentenced to death supposedly. It makes me feel bad, but then I start to think about it. And then I start to think about it in the U.S. and in other places. How many people are getting quieted like that too?
Again, like I was reading the sort of notes of
really
Joe Biden talking to Xi Jinping.
Yeah.
Xi Jinping. Talking to him about and going and he brought up the human rights issues in Taiwan and in Wuhan, Xinjiang, where the Uyghur population is, right? Giving out about pointing out America's moral high ground on the human rights issues, and I'm just going why doesn't fucking Xi Jinping just say, yeah, listen, we're pretty concerned about the fact that people in Flint, Michigan, in your country, still don't have clean drinking water, and
how come you kill so many black people?
Yeah, and Jackson, Mississippi, people still don't have clean drinking water.
Yeah, why do you kill so many black people?
Yeah, and why do you kill so many black people?
So many videos.
Why, and why is your prison population? Why do you have such a huge prison population? They never fucking say that, or if they do, we never hear about them saying that.
I've never heard about it.
Yeah, I've never heard them saying it. But I mean, if I was him, and and if I was running that country, and you had you were complaining about the human rights issues in my country, I'd be like, okay, well, what about? And I would fucking what about the motherfuck out of that whataboutism and go, what about your country?
What about you? Yeah, you're right.
Shut the fuck up, man. You know what I mean?
It's so heartbreaking to hear that. And I guess that's what it's supposed to do, is to appeal to your fucking compassion. And these, you just hear 15,000. Basically, majority of them were probably women.
That's all it is. I mean, I mean, and people have called there's people in the UN have called Gaza an open air fucking penitentiary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean, it goes back to the Noam Chomsky book, Manufacturing Consent. And it's about manufacturing consent for war, making the populace get on board a war.
Making us complicit.
Yeah, making us complicit and making us consent to war, and they do that. He has the worthy and unworthy victims.
What's the play? So, they kill these 15,000 women, or they sentence them to death, or let's say they do 10.
Yeah,
what's the play?
I think the play is to continue to get the American people and the West in general to support
going to war in Iran.
Not going to war in Iran. That's too messy, man. But to support putting money into the people who are opposed to the leadership in Iran, like what they're doing. They do that all over the world.
Of course, of course.
I mean, I'm sorry. I get a lot of shit, particularly on the Russia-Ukraine thing, that I'm like a Putin puppet and that I'm on the side of Russia. But I'm not. What I'm saying is this whole thing is being fucking spun up, and it's a massive fucking scam. And the amount of money that's being fucking like Zelensky and his boys, like this guy's name Buraminsky or whatever the fuck his name is. It's on fucking like he's. You gotta go. 5 minutes. He's like these guys are like the fucking Pandora Papers poster boys. They're the most corrupt motherfuckers like out there. And these guys are, these are the guys we're giving like shitloads of money to. And like don't tell me that these guys are like
on the up and up.
On their up and up, because like they were corrupt before.
Oh, but now they're.
But now because their patriotism like gene, they've got a patriotism boner. They're doing everything above board. It's bullshit. And these guys are still. They will be the first guys ever to not fucking capitalize as much as they possibly can off a war. Now I can't find it. I saved it somewhere, but I can't find it. I'll find it. The guy's name. He's the oligarch, the Ukrainian oligarch that runs the basically it's like Zelensky's puppet master. Yeah. I'm like, and I get like people say I'm very cynical. Well, like, yeah, I am.
It's not even that.
No, I am.
I don't. It's not even about you being cynical. It's just the fact that pisses me off. It's just like, I really, not to be a dick, I just don't think that I'm going to have the answers for the future for anybody. I feel like younger people need to do something to change it. I mean, we have to help them, but we're killing their future.
This is the price they're paying.
We're really killing their future.
Yeah.
Like, without any regard for what we're leaving them or what's happening. Like there's going to be nobody to take care of us.
No.
And they have every right to. What the fuck do we do for them? We fucking suck.
Yeah, I mean, like, my generation more so than yours, and my father's generation more so than mine. It's like, it's like,
you say to yourself, like, in my time, this and this happened, and it's like, what the fuck am I supposedly supposed to do? One person, but you're like, man, like, you're handing them off just like, what kind of future? Nothing. Like, nothing. Like, there's nothing that you can say that we're passing on to people in America or Canada or Europe that's anything better than what your parents said.
No.
What certainty?
No, definitely not.
There's no, there's nothing.
Definitely not.
There's not better health, there's not better, society, there's not more security, there's what the fuck do you have?
Just, there's more extraction. There's more shit being taken off.
You're more of a product.
Yeah.
That's critical.
Yeah, you're being exploited and sort of ground.
It's completely. It's just crazy. It's like how much more of your...
It's like the Matrix, sucking the fucking electricity out of you to run the Matrix.
Oh, that's so crazy. How can you just... How do we see the movie and we're in it?
Yeah. I can never... I can never figure out the Matrix. Like, why are they running the Matrix? Never said why they were running the Matrix.
Yeah, I always thought that was a waste of time, and I just...
Yeah. Why would
what are you doing? What's the point?
What's the point? You know what I mean? And even Skynet as well, like in Terminator 2. It's like, great, so you want to, destroy the world and make it fucking...
For what?
For what? What the fuck are you doing?
Because robots are cool?
Because robots are just annoying fucking assholes and they want to live in a fucking totally fucked up
Maybe
place.
That's us.
I think it's probably...
Maybe we're the robots.
These are obviously metaphors.
Yeah.
We're doing it ourselves.
But you get it. Like, you're like, why?
Yeah.
Well, honestly, most people, they spend all their time on Earth and they're worried about work, this and that, but you don't really know what your purpose is here.
No.
I mean, you waste a lot of time on fucking Instagram,
Yeah.
As I said, commoditized. For what end?
Yeah.
Just to be really rich and comfortable and
I don't know.
be over the masses? Like, what's the fucking end goal? Just to be on top, and then what?
Yeah, I mean, you take a guy like fucking like Bezos or
Musk.
Bill Gates or Musk or any of those. How much fucking better is your life gonna be when you go from 162 billion to 164 billion?
I don't know.
Does that make your life better?
Maybe.
And if you go down from 162 to 158, does that make your life measurably worse? It doesn't. It just doesn't compute to me. I don't. And I think 95% of the people in the world are like that. They're like, what?
What more could you like?
What do you need?
You've had every steak. You've had this. Like even Jay said,
But
eat some good food,
it's people.
clean drugs.
These are the people who are running the fucking show. These are the people we've put in charge. These are the people who decide that Iran is bad for sentencing women to death, but Saudi Arabia is okay with sentencing women to death. Taliban is bad for starving people. Qatar is okay for using people as slaves and killing half of them.
Yep.
These are the people who decide these things because they get to make a profit out of it, and they get to extract, and they get to have I don't know, God, Jesus Christ, how do they sleep at night? Yeah, and they do sleep well.
Yeah,
I'm
good sleep
sure they
number
do.
on the
Yeah.
bed, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So.
Like Rainer Wolfcastle, which I will put in, but I'm gonna try and remember the quote myself when he says, "How do you sleep at night?" And he goes, Rainer Wolfcastle's the Arnold Schwarzenegger character in The Simpsons, and he goes, "On top of a pile of money with many, many beautiful women." And I think that's it. Rainer Wolfcastle. He's your man. Anyway.
Bye.
Bye.
Fucking hell.
How do you sleep at night?
On top of a pile of money with many beautiful ladies.